Yes, we're back finally, and with a brand new intro. As you saw, welcome everyone to the Midnight Oil. It is Friday. Was it May 6th? Oh God, this year has flown by. I don't necessarily love it. My birthday's in a month, though. Everyone remember that birthday's in a month. We got a great show for you tonight. We got a couple of good things, a couple of bad things, maybe. I don't know. We all got opinions, and I got the usual suspects with me tonight. Mr. Aldous on the farm. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Always a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to our kind of what's become an annual weekly event of analyzing what's coming up and sharing our misanthropic views on it.
Absolutely. And Space Zombie, how you doing, man?
Could be doing better, but not too bad.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, that's about all I got, man.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
Well, you know what? It's time to unwind. It's Friday fucking night. I want you to turn your frown upside down, pull your chair up. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. And back with us this week after a little hiatus and to recharge the batteries, we have Snick. How you doing, man?
I have not missed Aldis's $20 words and annual weekly. That makes no sense. But hi.
Good to have you back, Snick.
I feel like such a dictator with this layout. We're going with the socialist layout. Everybody gets an equal piece of the pie, right?
You got to play the anthem.
We gotta. That's the most important part, is that we play the anthem here. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Anyways, great to be back, guys.
Why did you shut down patriotic national anthem, comrade?
I feel like, you know what? Actually, YouTube wouldn't ban me for that. They might actually boost me for it. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. What was that? No. Anyways, quite a week in news. I don't want to get into the news necessarily, but the world seems to be going to hell in a handbasket. But the good news is that there's good movies coming out, but there's bad movies coming out. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness came out. Was it yesterday or today? I haven't got
technically it's last night, but today as well. Yeah.
Right. I did not get a chance to see it. I was thinking about taking some personal time to see it today, but it's 2.5 hours. So I thought, not worth. But I've been trying to avoid the internet too. Like I was on YouTube this morning and there's spoilers everywhere. Did you guys notice that? Like all the clips?
Not really.
Oh, dude, there's clips. Maybe it's just because I'm like, I watch all those guys all the time. You know, whether it's Nerdrotic or Drinker, who all the movie analyst people. I'm watching them all the time. So that my feed is like tailored to that stuff. So yeah, there's clips all over the place of.
I got recommended on my YouTube feed, and I don't watch that stuff.
Yeah.
And I literally had full 2-minute scenes from the movie. Like good but bootleg copies. I'm like, oh hey, I guess I don't need to go see it now.
Yeah. Like what the
I'm kind of waiting for a Drinker to do a video on it. I mean, I watched oh, he did? Okay.
He did a spoiler-free one, I think.
Okay, cool. So did Flaccid Phoenix. They did a pretty decent review.
Yeah, the usual suspects seem to be handling it pretty well, so
I just want to comment on the name Flaccid Phoenix. That seems counterproductive. Is it going down or is it rising up?
I think that was their point. Like I don't know, but I could see that being the reason why.
I'll let Aldous take that one.
I have nothing to add to this.
Cool. Okay, fine. That was the point of my commentary.
Guilty by association.
But yeah, so we got a couple of trailers we're going to look at tonight. We're going to talk about we'll list the trailers here. The Essex Serpent, starring Claire Danes and Tom Hiddleston. Plan on covering that. Do a little reactionary and a commentary on that, the usual. The second Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer dropped as well. Gave us a little bit more insight onto what to expect from that limited series, a 6-episode series starting May 27th on Disney Plus. And then Black Phone, or The Black Phone, sorry, starring Ethan Hawke, which I believe that comes out in June. Is that right? June 25th?
I cannot remember.
And then we are going to be taking we're not going to look at it on stream, but we are going to discuss a Batman short called Broken Promise. Pretty cool. I'm not going to give anything away just yet, but I kind of wanted to start with Obi-Wan. You guys okay with that? What do you think?
Yeah, feel free, man.
Let's
Cool.
do it.
I reject it.
3-1, man.
All right, let me see. Let's pull this bad boy up. I'm boomering right now. My brain went full boomer.
Was about to say this is a boomer moment.
I
You
blame
know,
Zombie.
It wouldn't be a stream without it. That's for sure. Let me pull myself over here so I can see you and this at the same exact time. Lovely. All right. Let's see what Disney Star Wars has for us this time.
They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive. Leave us alone. When the time comes, he must be trained.
I did want to stop here. I don't want to stop very much, but the initial time I saw this line, it was like really cool at first, but then on the second and third watch, I realized like how dare you? Who do you think you are at this point, saying when the time comes he must be trained? Like and Owen Larcy says he basically follows this whole thing up with, you mean like how you trained his father? Like it seemed a very interesting. I don't know. I don't want to say bad writing, but I was surprised that was the line here.
Which particular line?
Well, what he just said, when the time comes, he must be trained.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it almost didn't seem, it almost didn't seem right with how we know A New Hope to be, like,
Well, nothing's lined up with A New Hope. I mean, even Rogue One, the ending of Rogue One is a break with canon.
Oh, do not start with
Everything-
Rogue One.
Down.
Shh.
Down, duck, down. The Disney standard is it's nostalgia bait. They're using it to draw you in, and oh my gosh, it's what they want. But they're not going to follow canon because they can't follow canon. If they followed canon, this entire show would just be Obi-Wan sitting in a cave, essentially, because he's not going to present himself. So they have to do this. They have to destroy what came before just to make it engaging, and they're going to do it just to nostalgia bait.
all right. Well,
Like it, I don't know. Like for one, it feels like in some regards, a transition from the way Lucas had the kind of like quasi Shakespearean speaking of the Jedi. But like with most Disney Star Wars, like because there was that look when Luke first mentions an Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then Lars looks at Beru and then looks at Luke and goes, "Oh no, he's been dead forever." So they're expanding way too much. I don't think the dialogue felt too heavy for me, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I guess what I mean is like it almost seemed like I don't know. It almost just seemed forced, or like he was Obi-Wan's trying to like carry the torch a little too much. It's like, we don't need that line because we know you're looking after him. That's what you're told to do. But like, why would you expose yourself in the way we know he needs to, or I don't know. It's just, again, they could have done the similar thing, but still sort of been faithful with like the hermit Ben Kenobi.
He's the creepy ex-girlfriend of Tatooine. Like they broke up forever ago, and then the Owens never, or the Larses never see him.
Yeah.
He suddenly shows up at a bar, and Owen's like, "Oh," and he's like, "The boy must be trained," and then he runs away.
And then he saves Luke later on by screaming at the Tusken Raiders.
Well,
Yeah.
even beyond all that, right? So Obi-Wan knows that he's out there and he's supposed to remain hidden. So where does he meet with Lars? He meets with him in the center of town where everybody can see him. So when the people that are coming and go, hey, we're looking for this rogue Jedi. Have you seen anybody speaking with anybody that looks like this? Oh yeah, Owen talks to him all the time in the town square. He wanders into town and he chats with him. You might want to go chat with Lars.
No. His beard is a little bit longer, and his hair is at least an inch longer. No one's gonna recognize
This
him.
is not Clark Kent where you can put glasses on and not look like Superman, bro.
Maybe I don't know. They do show an older picture of him. Let's continue because there's a comment I want to make, kind of looping back on what you said, all this. But let's move a little farther ahead.
Like you trained his father. You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
So right there, he says there's a. You still want Kenobi? He's gone. Is that I almost thought that was supposed to be Owen, like talking to an Inquisitor, like because we know that at least in A New Hope, we know that Owen does not care for Kenobi at all and wants him just sort of away from him, like doesn't want him around. So maybe that was him, saying to him like he's around, but he's gone. Like he's not necessarily giving away his position, but does that make sense? You kind of get what I'm saying?
I think you're really rounding the edges of the square to try to justify the writing.
If it is Owen Lars, it makes sense because it's what they do. It's a callback.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's not here. He's gone. Yada yada. So it makes sense that he would do that callback. And so now you'll watch the original trilogy and go, oh, that's where he first started saying it. This is the true origin story.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop right there because we're at a good roll here, but
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places.
yeah, see here, like that, he doesn't look that much different now. I mean, I think the crow's feet, they made him, like aged him, I think. Well, maybe it's just natural aging, but he definitely looks older than this picture, but doesn't look all that different. Just longer hair. Beard's about the same, honestly.
No, it's natural aging. In the next, I think this is 10 years after the end of episode 3. In the next 8 years, he's got a lot of aging to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Yeah, like this shot here, it definitely shows his age.
I take offense to that.
Well, I mean, no, but the thing is it's like good. It's like this is if they did any makeup, it's very, very subtle, I think. Like they almost timed this series perfectly to age with the actual timeline and him himself. Which, I don't know if it's chance or if it was planned that way or what, but it looks really good because again, he doesn't look anything like Alec Guinness, but he definitely is getting older, and you can see like I don't know. This is obviously the first time he's probably been in the presence. Well, I don't even know if this would be the scene that he's face to face with Vader, but this will obviously be his first time since that fight. I wonder if he even knows what he looks like. Do you think he has any knowledge of
I've never
like,
seen a
Vader?
mirror in the Star Wars universe, so probably not. Like I would have liked a little bit more aging on him. Like
Did you say a
makeup
mirror?
wise. Mirror. Yeah.
Mirror.
Mirror. No, just because he lives on a desert planet where there's literally no water, they have farmers that pull moisture from the atmosphere. And again, this is going nerdy with Star Wars lore, but I would have liked a little bit more of that, maybe a little bit more gray in like in the temples, hair, something like that. Just to kind of blend it in.
Yeah.
A lot less just for men.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot of graying to do in the next Well, I would assume like
8
maybe
years.
is it 8? Would it be 8 years?
Well,
Isn't Luke like 18 in episode 4?
Yeah, him and Leia are 18 in episode 4.
And he's like 10 in this show.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
So
Yeah.
he's spent over half of his time there. He's aged fairly naturally, a little bit more haggard, but especially, I mean, unless, again, using kind of like EU canon, unless he comes across a Sith that's uses like Force lightning on him,
Mhm.
because that pulls like stuff from the person.
It pulls
it
from your
hits.
life force, yeah.
Yeah, unless he gets like massively walloped by that, I'm wondering how he ages so much in 8 years.
I'm betting you episode 6 that Inquisitor chick there lightnings him and he looks just like OG Obi-Wan.
Yeah, is that what's going to happen? He's going to get Force lightning and become Alec Guinness.
Yes.
I'm only 38, but I look like I'm in my 60s.
The end of it, he's gonna just get zapped, and he's gonna have white hair. He's like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, like the one. I mean, I think this trailer, because that was the end of that trailer. It was just like the title card after that. But I don't know, man. We had this discussion last time. Aldous asked me like, how much more time you're going to give. You know,
Yeah, that was like the very first episode, I think.
Yeah,
of
Disney.
Midnight Oil.
It looks like shots like this. This doesn't feel like Star Wars to me.
It feels like
shit.
Disney Star Wars.
It's because it's Disney Star Wars. And I mean,
Right,
I didn't even watch the trailer. I know you said, "Oh, we're going to talk about it." I'm done. I'm not watching this trash. It's I'll go. I'd rather my time would be better spent watching A New Hope, Empire, or Jedi again. So,
not me. I'll watch it even if I hate myself. I'll
watch the
cut and
Ewok
cry.
movies. They're better than this.
Oh, how dare you! Those
I'd agree with that.
The
The
Ewok
first one's
Adventures
actually
was
really good.
terrible.
The second one,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make it even better. The Christmas special is better than this. It's going to be.
Now you're just trying to reach. One thing I thought was
hold on. Let's be serious about the actual like. I know. I think you guys are being hyperbolic to a point. Maybe not all this, but I think Space Zombie. I think you're being hyperbolic. I think that. I mean, Zombie, you're going to watch this. There's no doubt in my mind you're going to watch this. I'm going to watch it. I've been interested in this particular storyline, but there's elements I don't care about. I think we're going to get way too much story of this Inquisitor, you know, and I think it's going to be a story where she is even conflicted with what she's doing. Maybe.
What's going to happen is like it's going to be they're releasing the first 2 episodes, right? Like right away on the 27th. So those first 2 episodes are going to be Obi-Wan focus. It's going to be mainly him to draw you in. You're going to come in the 3rd episode. It's going to be all about her, and that's how it's going to be for the next 4 episodes.
Well, I doubt that. The first 2 episodes are always the episodes that grab you. Mainly the first one. Usually the first one or the second one have deep action. They're meant to hook you, right? It's the hook.
Except Moon Knight.
Yeah. They tried. I think. I mean, that ending with whatever. I don't want to get into Moon Knight.
Sorry.
But like it is normal to go to other characters in shows in the 3rd and 4th. But my thing is more along the lines of Halo, where you have like they wanted to have 2 characters going at one time, and it's like they don't know how to balance the 2. And I feel like this is what's going to happen. Is we're going to get a lot of like her, and we're going to get some of Obi-Wan, and we're not going to. It's going to have an identity crisis by the time the 6th episode comes around, and then I don't know. I hope to God they don't do the duel, but you know it's coming. The Duel of Fates in the first one, I think, basically solidifies it.
Well, no, this trailer set up 2 predominant things. One is increasing this. I think she's like the 5th sister or 6th sister. They've elevated her character. So she is going to be a secondary or tertiary protagonist of the story. And it's also dropping the Vader nuggets. Right. I did see some leaks maybe a month ago of the Obi-Wan Vader confrontation, which Aldous will love because he loves things that break canon and lore and that stuff.
Was it just the storyboarding stuff?
No, it was an actual. It was the 2 of them in the desert. Like it was a behind the scenes cut. Vader lifts his hand and Obi-Wan goes like flying back. So it hasn't been fully confirmed, but it looked fairly legit. But they hit you with the Vader, which even as a longtime Star Wars fan, I of course got to go ooh. But this does set her up. She's going to be a secondary set of eyes. She's going to be the hungriest one of the Sith Inquisitors, and you're going to be following her. I do agree with you, Shags. I think the first episode's going to be predominantly about Obi-Wan, where he is, being there, and then we're going to introduce the Grand Inquisitor, one of the brothers, and her. And then we're going to start to deviate the story where she becomes the main quote unquote antagonist for Obi-Wan, and she's going to have confliction. So,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I'll make excuses for this show because of Ewan McGregor and his portrayal of Obi-Wan. I like the character. I like how he does it. But Disney's been disappointing in their content recently. But this is,
I'd say it's been a bit less than disappointing. It's just been downright distasteful. I mean, they made Boba Fett into Beta Fett in his own damn show. The only 2 good episodes are the ones he's not in. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen with Obi-Wan. Like, they're going to have 2 good episodes, and that's it.
Man, I don't know. Like, I just don't know if they go that route with him, because I think people know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I didn't particularly care for the blaster scenes in this. I thought that was kind of a weird.
Oh yeah, no, they
change.
made a big point of they were uncivilized weapons, and all of a sudden he's
so
brandishing
uncivilized.
guns.
Well, it makes sense though. This is one of my issues with a lot of this stuff is the lightsaber was supposed to be a weapon that you don't see very often. And I understand these Inquisitor people were brought in one of the cartoons or whatever, but it should have just been, you had the Emperor and you had Vader, and then you had a couple rogue Jedi out there, and that was it. And the lightsaber was extremely rare. And so, yeah, when he's out and about in a city, it makes sense. He's not going to bring out his lightsaber. He's going to use a blaster, because if he uses his lightsaber, everybody's going to go, oh, look, a Jedi. And they're going to try to kill him. Yeah. So even though it is like a more civilized tool from a more organized time or whatever, that makes sense. The predominance of lightsaber, whatever. Let me finish, please. The predominance of lightsabers just gets a little ridiculous, and it's just one of those other things that's just I'm not interested in this. I'm so over this.
Yeah, this was another shot. I was just like, oh, this doesn't look like Star Wars. I know, again, you guys don't have to remind me, but I know it's not the Star Wars that we grew up with. But man, is it it's just disappointing to see this, because there was another not even good. There's no good cinematography in this either. There's not, maybe one shot of the desert or something. This one's not bad. That's a cool shot. Very, the black and white color swatches there. Where was the other one? There's him going in the desert. Maybe it was back farther.
Well, don't forget he has judo now. I saw that in one scene. He judo flipped somebody. That was impressive.
Oh, that was right. Yeah.
So he's using guns and he has judo, and I'm like, wow, that's a side of Obi-Wan. But no, they're probably, because I saw the behind the scenes of Mando a little bit. They're probably using a lot of the same sets and the same technology, that weird circular room where they put everything up. So that does rob thematic things of scope and grandeur, which, hell, George Lucas flew across the world to film things. So
yeah,
it's a little sad.
Well, sometimes out of the darkness we find light. And we had this awesome Batman short. We'll get out of the crappiness and get into the gooder. The gooder.
You want to do that, and then the trailers, other trailers.
What?
Well, did you want to finish up the other trailers and then do the meaty maybe talk, or did you want to kind of mix them up?
We could do the other trailers first. I just thought bring it up a little bit, but we'll move on to the Essex Serpent, because I think it was the Essex Serpent was an interesting shift from this sort of like, I don't know, just really juvenile looking Star Wars show into more of an art piece. I really want to read the source material. That interests me, but and I'm really interested in what Altus had to say, because he said he's got some spiciness to pepper in here. Okay, let me share with y'all. Okay. All right. Yes. So this, I couldn't tell. Let me just. Is it a show or is it a? That's one. Oh, it's okay. It is a series. So this is going to be a series on Apple TV Plus. So I'll probably never see it, but we'll see.
Won't legally see it.
Right.
The serpent has come. She was taken for her sins.
No, it was an accident. God will look after her now.
What is happening here?
Is there something out there?
That's what I'm here to find out. I've done some research.
Into a mythical beast.
Not mythical, real.
The serpent is.
So, like, just a quick pause. Already, like, I mean, I love the tone of the movie. I love the cinematography. I don't love Claire Danes, but like, she has that concerned look on her face all the time that kind of makes me mad. But like, just this shot here, like the river sneaking through, everything, the serpent, if you will, like just really great stuff. You see it throughout the entire trailer.
It's an invention, a symptom of the times we live in.
So you're against progress? I'd rather believe people have actually...
What's that?
I said ugh. Whenever I hear progress now in series, I go, oh no.
Fair.
...seen than an invisible god. Is that blasphemy?
We won't get my husband to judge you, no matter how hard you try.
Everyone's a little on edge at the moment.
Lock your doors, say your prayers!
You're trying to understand, trying to find the truth.
We must all follow our passions.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm scared.
And I love, like, basically halfway through this trailer, there's like this flip. There's like, in the beginning, we're meant to believe that the serpent is like a beast, some mythical, like, or even just some monster that might be, in the river there. But now it takes this like turn, like becomes more of a religious thing, or it's within somebody.
It's in us. We brought it here.
Brought what here?
I need to forget about Essex. I want you to come back.
Sounds like you're in love with her.
Everyone else is.
I scared them.
You didn't start all this.
We can't control our inner thoughts, but they can influence us. It was woman that was tempted by the serpent. It was woman that ate the fruit. Evil.
You let them accuse me. You said nothing.
I'm their pastor.
So you can't be my friend and a man of God.
I can't think clearly when I'm around you.
I won't be blamed for your weakness.
Love is not a weakness.
I think the Essex Serpent has sunk its claws into you too.
Every one of us lives with doubt and fear. And now is the time for us to come together. Don't be scared. It's when we're most lost that the source of light is closest.
I don't know, man. That show looks pretty fantastic. There's countless, like, just beautiful shots of the environment. There's one like in the city. I probably won't be able to find it now. I should have wrote it down. But just so many good, even this one, like, you can't quite see the background, but I loved this one of him. There's just so much good stuff going on here. My biggest criticism of the trailer was I didn't really understand what was happening towards the end. It seems like Claire Danes has some sort of Like she must be, the serpent, or there's something within her that's taking over people.
It's not that. You're overthinking it. This is the tripe that you get on Apple TV for anybody that watched For All Mankind. Season 1 was it was decent. Season 2 started delving into kind of what this is touching on, and this is what the series is going to be about. And the trailer pretty much lays it out. I mean, aside from the fact that Claire Danes throughout this entire trailer walks around with this permanent open mouth, like shocked look, like she's Tony Danza, the general view of this is, number one, it's taking a very negative look on faith and religion, which we can all expect from Apple. That's not going to shock anybody.
Yeah.
We again have a man who is principled, but he's not that principled because he cheats on his wife, and he's a man of God and he cheats on his wife. So faith doesn't matter, and faith is corruptible. But even worse, the whole show is going to be built around the fact that Claire Danes is going to roll in and offer this great explanation. And then we, as the viewers, are supposed to associate with her as she is vilified by everybody, and nobody stands up for her. And she ends up being right in the end. It's the same stuff that you're going to see in all this crap. It's predictable. It's boring. And I know you said it looks good, but good cinematography does not make up for poor writing. And that's exactly what this is. It's the standard trip.
I appreciate your analysis of that. That it doesn't seem very far off necessarily. But I don't know. The writing. Well, it's why I want to read the source material so I can see what the story actually is, or what it was at one point, and then see how this is written out. Because I don't know. It doesn't seem like very bad writing, but the trailer muddies things towards the end, and I know they're trying to, they're using first long sweeping shots and then creating tension, or relieving the tension or building with the quick shots towards the end. But it's confusing me very much, like the Outer Range trailer was. So, but I mean, I don't know. I don't go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I was gonna say, the cinematography is great. Like with the feel, the atmosphere, the filters they use, the locations. My first thought, and I'm probably pretty biased. With the name and the look and the small town and the priest and this person coming in, it almost feels like it could have been a good, Lovecraftian type story. With something external coming in and corrupting the townspeople.
Right.
Watching it, it feels like it is, like Aldous has kind of said, it's this modern trope. It's gonna be a movie about somebody who's learned, who believes in science, even though get the impression they're looking for the Loch Ness monster. But
right, that's what I thought at first.
Yeah, but they're going against superstition, which again is being conflated with Catholicism, religion, all that stuff. Which in the past there have been those mushings, but it is a trope now that it's all superstition. So I don't think there's going to be anything I've seen that there is anything supernatural. It's going to be about a learned person who comes into town, who is scientifically minded, who is going to be going across a superstitious and kind of ignorant populace. And then the B plot of that is going to be this weird romance between a priest, who again, we see the trope a million times, the unfaithful man of God, who's supposed to be a pillar of the community, who doesn't believe in what he's saying. He can't even be faithful to his family.
I don't know. I think you're jumping the gun on that, honestly, because it seems like,
well, it's shown right in the trailer that he whatever that is, it's shown and heavily suggested that that's the case.
Right. No,
and this is what I'm saying. If you want to do something that's shocking, you make this film and you have Hiddleston's character be a true man of God and faith and compassion and love, and imbibe all the principles that Christianity actually imbibes versus Hollywood's take on it. And then that would present her in a poor light, because then she's coming in and throwing her weight around in her opinion, and he would be calm and compassionate and saying, we need to hear her out and let's listen to her. And she would just be raving like a lunatic that that's not good enough. And, like she was there when she's yelling at him. And if his response, instead of being, well, I can't keep my mind, because I love you. Like if he instead would have been, I try to take everything fairly and equally and just step back. That changes the entire context of that scene and thereby the show from what they've presented here. And it's just, that's why I'm saying it's predictable, because we know how this goes. We've seen this. All they've done is wrapped it in a different cloth and presented it in a new setting with good cinematography.
If you want to see a better sorry.
No. I think you swallowed your mic carefully.
I was going to say that. Damn it, Shex.
Okay.
No, you got really loud in the beginning. Maybe just sit back.
Sorry, I have like my mic closer to my face because apparently it's moving when I have it on my desk. So I'm trying to make myself sound decent. But if you want to see a better version of this, just watch Midnight Mass. Like I'm getting a lot of Midnight Mass vibes from this trailer, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not what's the word, excited or bored by this trailer. I feel nothing from this.
I would like to point out Midnight Mass, yet another example of the priest that cannot be faithful to his vows or his faith.
But he has redemption at the end.
I want to point out that there is
an
insanely long review of that on Aldous' channel, which I definitely was not a part of and inebriated.
Well, okay. I feel like I'm the only one who appreciates anything about this trailer, and that's fine. That's totally good.
No, it has beautiful cinematography.
You're just the Hiddleston sim.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is you guys are making assumptions about writing and the ending. Like you couldn't possibly know what the ending to this is unless you read the book Zombie.
That's like saying look at what's going on. It's on Apple TV.
Yeah, okay.
What has Apple TV produced? Show me one show on Apple TV where they've presented a male that's in a marriage as a stable person and that's a rock, that is a man of principle and foundation. Show me that. Because I concede your point if you can show me that, because I haven't seen that from Apple TV in anything I've watched.
Yeah, I can't show you that. But what I'm saying is I don't know if, because I got the opposite feeling from Hiddleston's character, is that I think there was something else going on, like whether or not Claire Danes is aware of what's happening or not is the question to me. She obviously is the perpetrator of whatever is going on, and I think he is resisted and tried to be as good as possible. Now, I don't necessarily appreciate the demonization of Christianity or whatever. Like it's overdone. And
those were gonna be my words. Yeah,
that's
kind of dumb.
I'm not coming from a position of faith on this. I'm just coming.
Right, I know.
I appreciate a good story. And this is such a tired trope at this point. It was interesting 20 years ago. Now do something different.
My only point to this stuff is that I've seen enough trailers, because I'm a story guy, so I kind of focus on it, but they revealed enough in this trailer. You get the tension between, I don't necessarily agree with that she's the cause of things. I think she's potentially going to be the heretic character. She's going to come in because she's a woman of science, and it's a town that is steeped in quote unquote like superstition.
Yeah.
So anything that's weird because that goes on in the town, they're going to blame on her because she's a non-believer. And again, it's a trope I've seen too much lately of. But things get revealed a little bit too much in some regards. And again, for me, I went in, I see the title, The Essex Serpent. In my brain, I see the atmosphere, the mood, the sets. So I'm expecting something a little bit creepy, maybe supernatural. But it is a trope nowadays to have trailers that tell you too much of the story. And I know we're probably jumping ahead because we've all seen the full trailer. So the negative opinions aren't necessarily based upon like we haven't seen it. No, we could watch it and it could be a good drama piece. it was not what I expected, especially with Hiddleston. The last few movies I've seen him in,
Thor.
Well, no, Thor. There was the Crimson one from Guillermo del Toro. I can't remember what it was called.
Wasn't it like the Crimson Room or something? Like he was in a mansion, right?
Yeah, it was in a mansion. I saw that one. It was kind of a ghosty story kind of
It
thing.
was spooky.
Yeah, so you kind of go into this with the name and the look of it, and you expect this kind of like Victorian era, slow burn, creepy, potentially supernatural thing.
Crimson Peak,
that was it. But then if like watching it, I'm like, it's not about that. This is literally about superstition versus science. And then the other plot is this forbidden romance.
I must have missed the science part of it, but I could be wrong.
Because of her, she's there investigating, and especially the way she's dressed is very atypical. I don't know.
What was she investigating?
She came here, I think, for the serpent that was seen. So
interesting.
And
that's the other confusing part because it sounds.
I'm sorry. I was going to say I read the book a million years ago, which may have been a couple years, but my memory's crap. So, and I remember very little, but I remember her being kind of a sciencey person. So,
okay. Well, hey, I mean, I'll gladly admit if you guys are right if it turns out that way. I'm a little bit more like I guess hopeful on it. Like I don't think it'll be as bad as you guys think. I don't know. I just think there's a little bit better writing in there than,
for me, like I don't want shows to be bad. I want them to be good, but I'm just kind of tired of putting blind hope into shows nowadays because it's
what else do you have?
Beer, toast, butter. I don't know.
And he's never had any of those.
Well, I'll tell you what when you're like, what else do you have? You gotta watch something. There's hundreds of options. Yeah, here on YouTube, there's the Dust Network where you can watch, 30 great 15-20 minute sci-fi films and, get those that are better written than 90% of the stuff on Netflix, Amazon, Apple, HBO Max, whatever.
I also recommend Oats Studio. They do a lot of cool stuff too.
Yeah, Oats Studios is great as well. But it's just I understand what you're saying, Shags. It's just lately, like in the last 5 years, it's hyper accelerated. Trailers are definitely exposing more of the story, and it's gotten to the point where it's just everything is the same repackaged trash. So it's like, oh, okay, you watch a trailer, and like Snick was saying, you know where it's headed, and there's no surprise anymore. It's all predictable.
Yeah. All right. Well, we tried. We tried with that one.
Don't black pill. Like finish the trailer.
We did.
We all could be wrong. No, we're like
we did. No, I moved it back. Thanks for paying attention, though.
You're welcome.
I'm just sort of I'm sort of hopeful where I probably shouldn't be. But
never take the black pill. We're commenting.
What is a black pill? I guess I'm unaware what a black pill is.
It's modern vernacular.
I know.
It's just being completely devoid of hope and expectation.
Basically, you become a doomer.
No. That's not it. That's the exact opposite. Actually,
no, I know. You should never take a review, commentary, expectation. I take them as challenges. Hell, when people tell me something's awful, I go, "Oh, I gotta watch it now," because I'm like either they're wrong or I'm probably gonna laugh with this stuff. So it just, again, the way this show was set up, my expectations before watching the trailer were very different. And then remembering I actually read this book because I went and Googled it. I'm like, oh, I had read that. It just, I don't know. It just, the setup and the way it was filmed, and it could be done perfectly. Claire Danes is good, even though I haven't seen her since 2007. Hiddleston's good. It could be shot perfectly. But I don't know. It's just
and honestly, you're right when all this said that cinematography is not everything. It doesn't make up for shitty writing, which is right. I just don't think that at least from what I've seen so far, that there's shitty writing necessarily. I mean, and the one thing that I think is lost on a lot of these like newer movies and shows is the fact that they don't take any sort of care in the shots. Like because to me that's part of the art. And like they don't, again, movies just tell, they don't show anymore. And even when I was studying film, one of the things that you'll notice between older films and more modern films is really good movies, and especially the older ones, you could turn off the sound and still understand what's going on based on how the shots are. Because I mean, for long ago they didn't have sound. It was just you just had to like kind of watch what was happening. And like now, I mean, just look at like a Michael Bay film, or something like that. Like you need this. It's like it needs sound. It needs a dialogue so you know what's even happening. But I don't know. So I think this is a really pretty thing. I hope that it is written well, and I hope, because I can even look past some of the woke shit sometimes, as long as I'm not like, it's not like I'm not like bludgeoned to death by it. But
Peacemaker had a good balance of that. Like there was woke shit in it. I know we talked about it last episode, but yeah, like it had some woke stuff in it, but I still enjoyed that show. Like it's possible to push the message without destroying your narrative.
Yeah.
Well, you can have woke stuff, but storytelling, engagement, excitement trump that stuff. So
okay, let's move on to the next trailer, because we have one more, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes that I know everyone's just ready to feast on. So the next trailer is for The Black Phone. It looks like it's going to be a sort of a horror suspense, starring Ethan Hawke, and I will just use my little thing down here. Hopefully it says when it comes out. January 24th. I was off by a day. January 24th. Starring Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and Jeremy Davies. The only person that I recognize there is Ethan Hawke. Though Jeremy Davies seems kind of vaguely familiar. All right, let's take a look.
No sound.
There's no sound?
I hear nothing.
Okay, let's unboomer this shit then. Share screen. Share screen. Tab.
I
Share
once
audio.
again blame zombie.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Let's try this again.
Would you like to see a magic trick?
Yeah.
Tell me your name.
Taylor.
I was really starting to like you. Finny. I almost let you go.
Who are you?
You know all our names?
It doesn't work. Hang it up.
So one thing I don't particularly care for when it comes to trailers is this. Hawke is a transformative, blood-curdling, captivating performance. Like, if I have to be told that, I'm suspect. But from what I've seen in the trailer so far, it looks like he gives these like really good performances, but he's completely alone. Like it's him just being a creep all by himself. Like, do you guys kind of see that?
Well, I put those quotes the same as by the producers of, and you're like, they're the money guys. That means nothing.
Right.
I do know with Hawke, I've seen him in enough. Like I've seen Sinister. I like that movie. I even liked, oh God, what was the one? The Purge that he was in.
Oh, Purge was good. Yeah.
Him being in a horror movie, especially as a villain, which is recently against type, I'm interested in. I like the cinematography. I like the color grading.
Yeah.
There's some things about it that are a bit odd, but it feels very indie. So I am curious thus far.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm having trouble understanding like the identity of this so far, or like as I watch the trailer, but
I think it's being vague intentionally in some regards.
Could be, yeah. Hopefully, starring Slipknot. Unlike anything we've seen, yeah, probably not.
I made you some breakfast.
What'd you put there?
Salt and pepper.
Have you seen this boy?
My brother, he was taken.
By a man with black balloons.
I had a dream about it.
Please let the dreams be real.
You're getting out of here.
How?
There's a combination lock.
What's the combination?
Hang up the phone! You don't have much time.
You're gonna use a weapon.
You are special, Vinny.
Please hurry!
Ooh, the creepiest damn thing.
Zombies start us off, baby.
Okay, this is odd. I think it looks fine. Like I'm sure it'll come out and be decent. I mean, it's not gonna be anything transformative, blood curdling, or something we've never seen before, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it once again gives away a little too much about the story. I would have preferred the like supernatural elements to be more teased at than straight up like confirmed. Like, yeah, there's ghost kids.
Yeah,
or like his sister's a psychic all of a sudden. I don't know. It's just. I mean, also, if the phone is such a big deal for him, why is it still in the room?
Well, it doesn't. It almost seems like I think that's the like poor editing. What it looks like to me is poor editing, where the kid must be using it. He must be getting caught using it, and the guy doesn't. He's like, "What are you doing? Hang that shit up!" Like, it doesn't. Like, but yeah, if something doesn't work, like, why is it still there? And it was maybe used by previous kids that were down there, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting choice too. And yeah,
do you want me to tell you what it is? It's the black phone is from a Joe Hill anthology collection of the 20 called 20th Century Ghosts. The black phone is the boy is kidnapped by a man and he's thrown into a cell. The black phone and there's nothing in the room other than like a mattress, some blankets, and like the phone.
Yeah, and
the phone is unhooked, but it rings, and he can talk to all the person's previous victims. Is what it is.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an okay little short. I'm not a big Joe Hill fan. I like his shorter stuff better than his novels.
Okay.
I'm not sure Snick's a reader. He might have read it too, but at least the imagery in this, and this is what happens. If there's the obvious examples, if you go back, like you had Armageddon and then Deep Impact, right? And then you get this a lot with studios where one studio starts doing something. And that's just the first one that came to mind. It happens a lot. But one studio will start doing something and another studio does a mimic project. Right. The other thing that happens is you have one film succeeds, and then you have what set off the slasher genre in the 80s is you have Halloween and then The Fog, and then boom, they all just carries forward and the slasher genre starts. Well,
right.
It was a huge hit in the theaters. So you get movies that are trying to capture that same magic. Now, this is not like, it's still a kid's kind of oriented story. Yeah. But if you notice in the trailer, they're hitting you with the same imagery with like the girl riding in the rain slicker and it's raining with the balloons.
Yeah. And the balloon.
Yep. Even if those things are in the story, that's one of the reasons the producers key in on that. And they're going, oh, this will work because it's like it. And then they accentuate those things in the trailer. Those might be real minor, when it comes to the film, but they're accentuating it in the trailer to give you that it vibe and to draw that crowd in. It's I don't know. I mean, Hawke's a good actor, but to me, this was done better and with more gravitas a couple years back by Peter Jackson, which ironically I believe was a King adaptation with The Lovely Bones, which is kind of the same vibe. So that's just my take. It's just,
and that movie was garbage compared to the book, by the way.
Right.
If you've never read the book, it was a huge letdown, but it's kind of a hard thing to do. That book was pretty fucked up. But no, yeah, I agree. And I thought it's just
my reading list.
It's always confusing. Like this trailer is very confusing because he's wearing a mask like the whole. Well, you see his face, right? He opens up with a trailer of like you see his face. You want to see a magic trick? And then all of a sudden he has a mask on. It's like, well, what's the point of the mask now? Because like it's not creepy anymore because we know what's behind it. Why have the mask? And then they reference a man holding black balloons. But when they show him actually holding the balloons, he doesn't have a mask on. So why is there so much mystery surrounding this guy with the black balloons? Is he like Bigfoot? Like you just can't take a clear picture of him? Like it was very interesting because when I first watched the trailer to this, I thought, oh, this looks creepy. And then I watched it again more carefully, and I just thought, And even Brian in the chat said, like, is this a comedy? Because they do make jokes. I mean, he made a joke about like, oh, there's what's in this food? It's like, oh, salt and pepper. Like, okay, I'm no longer afraid of this person. Like, I don't know.
Well, this is also a Blumhouse production, so you're gonna see it's gonna get a lot of people are gonna talk about how awesome it is, and it's distributed by Universal. So, it's always fun. Right now, you're going to see a lot of reviews coming out because they released the trailer, so they're going to talk about how awesome it is. Look at what website that person is writing for, and trace back who owns it. And my guess is you're going to see that Universal is doing a pretty soft push behind this trailer to get it good momentum moving into release. But that's my guess.
Yeah,
because I think at the end of the day, it's just going to be a middling horror fare that they're going to try to just build up into something more than it is.
It's too bad, man. It was like, at first I thought that it had potential, and I don't know, maybe there still is, but I do agree with Zombie in the fact that it's like they just gave away everything in the trailer. like there's nothing. Like I'm just okay now. I just need some details filled in if I ever watch this. Like what like the kid in the corner, like upside down, pointing to the code. The kid, the four of them standing in broad daylight out in the rain. Like there's nothing to be afraid of at this point. And even Hawke to an extent, like doesn't even look like he's that creepy. I mean, he almost seems like a weird, like pedophile type who's just like sitting, rubbing his nipples with the mask on in the dark. And that's about it.
Why would you put that in my head?
I'm sorry. It's my job. It's my job to keep you guys, going. I know what you like.
See, like I was kind of more excited before you guys talked, especially all this. I haven't read this short story, but I have read Joe King, or Joe Hill. I thought like it's not a good trailer. I remember that the first time I saw it, I was like, this is not a good trailer at all. I saw people talking about it. I watched it. There was, I think I projected kind of where I saw it going. Like, I don't know, there was this black phone with the cord cut, and I don't know, part of me was like, he knows that it reaches out to this thing and he's trying to teach this kid a lesson, or I don't know, maybe find a replacement or do something. But it's Joe Hill. Joe Hill is an idea guy. He has some good ideas that don't necessarily go very well. And then Zombie going on and you about it reveals too much. I'm like, oh God, they probably did. It's still one I'm interested to see, to kind of see where it goes and how it plays.
Yeah.
My mind might have pumped up more things than maybe should be there. I like Ethan Hawke. I like was it Blumhouse or whatever it is, because they're the only real company that focuses in horror in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
Snake is sponsored by Blumhouse and Warner Bros. Productions.
Well, no, again, I like horror movies. I do. I like when the supernatural meets the realistic, and Blumhouse is one of the few studios anymore that actually focuses on that. And they're never fantastic, but they're always sometimes, well, not always, but sometimes decent.
Well, you know what they're doing is they're doing something that not enough studios are doing. And instead of investing $450 million into a massive summer blockbuster, they're doing $20 to $30 million films that are small and compact. I mean, they're the guys that did The Purge and Insidious and Split and Get Out, and they're throwing arguably small investments into films, and they're getting huge returns on some of them. Others you haven't heard of, so those just kind of fall by the wayside. But it's kind of that New Line Cinema, Miramax early days of the 90s, not indie, but pseudo indie filming, where they're doing smaller films, and when they hit, like Blair Witch or Get Out, they're hugely profitable. And when they miss, it's not as big of a write-off. Yeah. So, why is everybody praising them? Well, part of it, they're kind of shotgunning their approach to it. And they're more often than not, they're making decent films. And we are in a market right now where if you make a decent film, you're praised, because it's almost like it's like a bell curve. It should be 50% of the movies that come out are decent, but it's not. Everything is skewed like 2.5 standard deviations to the bad, so that if it's just an average movie, people rave about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys have anything to add on to that for the trailer? Because I thought we touched on pretty much everything.
I got like a quick question, I guess. But Blumhouse, they're the ones who made the Conjuring movies, right? Or was that a different production?
Could look it up.
I think that was a different production company. I can look it up real quick.
Could have sworn it's Blumhouse.
That'll help me Googling, thanks to Zombie, who could have Googled this.
That's New Line Cinema.
Okay, my bad then. But it's also kind of like what you're saying. I wanted to, like, you're talking about how they were going to make a bigger thing out of this than it is. It's like, how much you want to bet there's going to be a sequel already in the works, like a really crappy low budget sequel.
Well, it depends on how much it makes. I mean, look at the one I mentioned, The Purge, right? The Purge was successful. It made money. And in my opinion, the quality has gone drastically down. They went from a really good,
the latest movie's garbage.
Yeah, they inverted the horror house, the haunted house concept, and locked everybody inside of it, right? And the evil's outside trying to get in. It was kind of a neat, almost like The Strangers. And then they flipped it, and that's neat. And then but the quality's gone down. But hey, people are buying tickets. So
and then they made that awful TV show for it too, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't watch much television.
I think it lasts like 4 episodes where they canceled it.
Right.
So if it's making money and the producers are happy, they're going to keep on churning them out. I mean, for the love of God, look at the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchises in the 80s.
How dare you? Versus Jason, baby.
Those still made money. I think there was only like 2 that didn't.
But they were fun. They were.
Fun. And I think that's a little bit different, is you don't get that sense of schlock anymore outside of like Troma. Troma seems to be the only production company that's still making like schlock movies.
Well, it's because a lot of producers now have a message they want to pass on, and that's
and I think it's beyond that, though. I don't think it's so much about the messaging for most of these guys. I think everybody just takes themselves too seriously. Everybody thinks they're the next Francis Ford Coppola, and it's like, dude, Sam Raimi made Darkman because he couldn't make the Batman or his Shadow movie idea. So he did Darkman. And it was a cheap film, and it's just fun.
Raimi did talk about wanting to make a new Darkman. He's hoping Liam Neeson wants to do it. So good Lord.
Oh my God.
That'd be great.
Please.
Because again, that's one of those where the sequels went off the rail, but those, like Brighton brings up in chat, like Final Destination's another one, right? Like that was fun, but man, it got so ridiculous towards the end. But hey, man, again, they made money, and don't blame the production studios for making these films. Blame the people that are buying the tickets.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It's true.
Hey, Final Destination 3D was a masterpiece. How dare you?
Final Destination 5. I don't like bridges now because of that movie. Like what the hell
was it? No, Final Destination 2 always freaked me out. The highway scene, because like I drive on the highway all the time.
Oh, with the log.
The log, but like here it's not so much the logs. Like there'll be big trucks like carrying. Like today I was behind one. It was like 30-foot pieces of rebar, and I was like, God damn! Like, can you imagine those like slipping out from the straps and just?
Oh no, I've got one better. Before I saw that, I think it was before, but I'd seen the first one. Driving on the highway, and I was behind a construction kind of truck. It was a smaller one. A ladder flew off the back and slid across the highway. And the whole time I'm like, holy shit, if I hit that thing, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I had to swerve across 6 lanes of traffic to avoid it because I'm like, I've seen how this ends.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Not like this. Not like this.
Guys, I can't contain anymore. I want to talk about this. We need to talk about this Batman short. Because I don't know if I could find much wrong with it. So remind me that I didn't write the whole name. Batman, the Broken Promise. Broken Promise. Holy hell. Like any like aspect of it, I was loving every second of it. Art style. I even like the whole like shaky cam. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like, especially in the beginning, they had that like this like shaky cam like feel to it, like as they're panning around.
Do we have a link to the Batman short in the description?
Yeah, I have it right here. I was just thinking I'm going to put it in chat, and I will put it in the show notes for this segment. I do apologize for those who are live. Where am I? I don't know where I am.
Well,
I'm lost.
While you're gathering that about, so this short is called Batman Broken Promise. It's an animated film, and it's done by Stephen Trumbull Animation. And this is what amazes me is this guy's got 6.4K subscribers on his YouTube channel. He drops this relatively recently. I believe it was dropped in April 26th. And he's already got over 170,000 views on it. But he used Batman. So he can't profit off of this.
Right.
Any profits that he does are going to go towards DC because they own the character. Now it's a very good short. There's like, I have two minor issues with it. That's just two minor ones. My heaviest praise for this is the villain that is the introduced villain is Arnold Weskler. And Weskler is the ventriloquist created in 88 by Wagner and Grant during their really good run on Batman. And it's just great to see that he didn't use like a standard mainline character. And that's my minor point is that just how at the end they bring somebody else in. And it's just a little disappointing. You see how they framed it, but it's like, man, this would have just been a really nice set piece for just one villain. It didn't need that double cast that they so often seem to want to do in a clean story. So
I thought it was done like the villains, like how they stacked them was really beautifully done. I don't know. Cause I was thinking like, oh, who's cause the woman's talking about her boss. I'm like, okay, who's the boss? Who's the boss? So I knew something was going to, happen and change there, but
I was totally expecting Black Mask, man.
Yeah. I at first I didn't really know. And then when he finally showed up, I just thought, wow, like that was cool. And I love the double cross in it. That was like perfectly done. And there was 3 lines that stuck out to me that I didn't want to forget. But there was a part where Batman's like, where is he? And it was very like, this was like a Christian Bale's, where are the other drugs going in this Batman voice, like I immediately thought of that. And then when ventriloquist runs out of the room, the doll says, get me out of here, dummy. And I just thought that was like really cool, snarky writing. And then
that's actually just the character. That's
I
how
know it was.
Yeah,
And it's
that's how Scarface talks to Arnold.
Especially
just
Batman animated series, this pulls a lot from that. There's a lot
Yeah.
of homages.
Well, I mean, the ending of it is the intro to the Batman animated series.
Well, no, there was an homage to it at the end, but no, it pulls a lot from that and the Nolan, and it was kind of a modernized take. Scarface was wearing Adidas clothes, and I'm like, wow, okay, he's not a old mobster. He's like a Russian mobster now. So
Yeah, it was just really good. I don't know, like I just thought this guy did everything so well, you know, sort of paying homage where he needed to. And like the red and the blue throughout, especially when Harvey comes in, like Harvey Two-Face looks so good, like how he's drawn. And
the contrast colors in that end, the whole end sequence is very well done.
Oh, I know.
Lighting photography is really good too.
Yes,
Yeah,
but since I didn't realize we were going to spoil the fact that it's Two-Face that comes in. But that was a little bit of a disappointment. I thought the Scarface ventriloquist could have handled the whole arc, and you just could have made it a 2-bit politician is pulling his strings. I don't think you needed to bring Two-Face into it. Just to be a physics nerd, when Batman uses his glove to draw the silver dollar into his hand, silver is minorly magnetic, like very weakly magnetic, so it wouldn't have gone to a magnet. So that's like, but that's also
a minor bit in my back of my head.
That's also that's kind of one of those moments where it's, you know, the rule of cool. It worked, and it worked so well, and especially with how they played it during the fight where it gets knocked loose.
Yeah.
And Harvey kind of pauses as it's rolling around. That kind of excuses it. So that's one of those things where writing, sometimes you kind of got to bend the rules to make things follow the rule of cool, but this did it very well.
Dude, the tension in that scene alone was like, you could have cut that shit like in half. Like just how close up they are, like on Harvey. It's like basically an over the shoulder of and like focused on Harvey's eyes, and like you almost like could see them like want to twitch down because he wants to look at it, but he almost doesn't want to like prove Batman right that he needs this coin to make his decisions.
That he surrendered. Yeah.
Oh, he did. It was so perfect. It was so perfect. And Snicker or in Zombie, I want you guys to give your feedback on it too, because I do have a question that I do eventually want to ask, but
I will just say Zombies is going to be wrong, but go ahead, kid.
Okay, I like it. How's that wrong?
You know, keep going. You'll be wrong.
No, yeah. I want to hear some your genuine some feedback.
Okay, well, I love the animation for the most part. My only criticism was there's a few stilted bits here and there, but I mean, it's to be expected from a fan animation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still awesome. It's a lot better than a lot of the other stuff out there. I love the art style. It was very comic book. I really enjoyed that. The story, really enjoyed it. Like the whole contrast in colors you guys brought up earlier, that was really cool. I really enjoyed like Harvey's like grotesque half and how they would sometimes focus on each half of his face depending on what he was saying.
Yep.
Kind of showing the conflict inside.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. And then, yeah, that whole fight at the end was just like the way they're trading punches and Batman was constantly disarming his pistol, like unloading the chamber, disarming it. It was just perfect.
A lot of attention to detail.
Chef's kiss,
that.
baby.
Yeah, it was good. And like the sound design and voice acting, like usually in stuff like this, they're not that great, or like you get like these 2-bit like voice actors that are like hired from Fiverr or something, and they're just not that great. But everyone's part was played beautifully. Extremely impressed with it.
There was soul put into this production.
Oh yeah, you can tell it was done by true fans.
Call back to last episode.
Yeah.
No, the voice acting was good. I do remember the first time, I heard Batman. I was like, the dude's doing a good job. But I also grew up with Batman the Animated Series, so I have a high threshold for what's fantastic. He did a great job. Harvey, the first time he spoke, I got flashes of the guy who did the spoofs on the Nolan movies, where it's like
Yeah.
Harvey Dent, can we
Oh.
trust him? Like
Yeah.
that's all I could hear. I was like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
See, I thought the guy that did the voice for Scarface and Arnold, that was Arnold especially was inspired. The little tremor in his voice as he's speaking.
Yeah.
It was just little soft
panic.
touches like that were just
Mhm.
excellent. I really appreciated it. And kind of going back to what Space was saying, the animation, the use of like simple matte shots for Batman, where it's just a matte and they kind of use the camera to pan.
Yep.
It was really good, and that's one of the things as an amateur animator, showing how you can take just a still and make the still come alive with just a couple of little After Effects and just a pan camera shot. They did a really good job.
No, the first, I think, I don't know, 10 seconds of the short, the 2D animation, I was like, it's very bulky. It's very eh. Then I realized it was like this very stylized version, and they incorporated this stylized 2D animation and they moved it. Like it really sings in the action scenes. Like the fight choreography, the fight scenes, seeing Batman in the shadows, those were dead on.
Oh yeah.
The way they handled Scarface, the voice acting and the visuals in like the story were perfect. I did like incorporating a secondary villain. The whole time I was waiting for it. But yeah, it treated all of the characters with respect. It made Batman a beast. It showcased Scarface for who he was, and they did a fun like version of Two-Face that was like a combination between like kind of like the oh god, who was the guy who did the Batman Forever?
Schumacher.
Like with because the black light. They did it.
Yeah.
They did a great incorporation with that, with making him feel gritty and damaged, but that sense of a lawmaker who was twisted.
Yeah.
Like they covered the characters, I think, perfectly, how they were handled. Batman had so many scenes in that where he didn't speak. You were listening to like Scarface and this enforcer for Two-Face talking, and the whole time, like you're just like, this is Scarface. They even added the scene I remember from the old Batman animated series where she looks at Arthur, and then
Yep.
he goes, "Hey, why are you looking at him? I'm the one talking." And you're like, "Oh, it's so good. It's so good." But it was this weird amalgamation of modern time. Like get rid of the old like 50s whatever mobster outfit, put him in Adidas clothes. Make him a drug dealer. And then especially when you had the start with the DA, I was like, oh god, they're going into modern politics. Division between red and blue. And that was the setup when
Right.
you get the reveal of Two-Face. That he was like, okay, if you want to go red and blue, black and white, left or right, 50-50,
Mhm.
I'm going to poison half of these drugs. And it made so much sense when you incorporated Two-Face.
Yeah.
And it was these subtleties, and again, like I get what Aldous is saying about focusing on more than one villain, which is a modern trope. But this is probably an independent creator who loves the source materials. They absorb all of them. Again, they're pulls from the comics, Schumacher, the animated series, in a modern time. They brought these things in, and they're like, I have one shot. So I'm going to pull two characters that meld together that do not necessarily get a lot of screen time. I'm going to put them up. I'm going to make a story based upon that. And I'm going to make Batman the focus and a complete badass. And it was pretty fantastic.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like he's the creator of this is he's like a package deal. He is a true fan. He is a wonderful, an amazing artist and a brilliant storyteller. Because like I was saying earlier, you could probably put this short on mute and still get most of the story beats out of all of this. Like, again, you even said it, Snake. I believe Batman doesn't even talk all that much in this. Like, he does say some things, but like there's a lot of moments where he's just standing there looking and like listening, and you would probably get most of what's happening. And especially with with all the other characters, because like even like little bits of like animation of like the different characters' eyes being shifty or whatever, like it's so well done. There, even when after when Scarface is laying on the ground, like there's a point I think where either Two-Face or Batman hits the ground, and the way the shot is framed, it looks like Scarface is looking at the character even though he's dead.
It was Batman.
It was Batman, right? Yeah. And I just thought like, wow, that right there, subtle but powerful. Like I feel like Batman, like that's how just like Batman feels in some way, is like just these things haunting him all the time, and there's someone watching right there. Like it was so good. I just could not believe. I was not expecting something like that out of a 15-minute. Yeah. And like Brighton said, like there's so much character development in such a short period of time. And this is the question I really wanted to ask you guys. And that was like, why don't you think we see this kind of writing in movies now? Like, being as fans of these characters, and just like even comic book characters in general, and of the cinema medium, why aren't we seeing stories like this written today?
Nepotism,
focus groups. Like that's one thing for sure. Because like there's studio interference in a lot of superhero movies in the past.
That's not new though. No,
I know, but it's definitely like a deterrent for people to get into the field. Like, why would I want to make something for these people who are just gonna chop it up and take what they want, like what they think is best, and then add their own crap to my sandwich?
But that's not new. If you know Kevin Smith, which you're young, you probably didn't watch all the DVD commentaries. Like him talking about doing Superman Reborn, and then being brought in to talk to some of the producers and stuff, you got to see behind the scenes. The weird stuff that was going on there was always there, and it was always bad. But we exist in a world now, sadly, where it's all about name brand remakes, other things.
Well, it was about that then. And the documentary that Snick is talking about is The Death of Superman Lives. And I think that was from like 2014, 2015. But and that film was supposed to be made in the late 90s. And that's why if you go back and you look at like late 90s bands, there's like a 4-year period of time where a bunch of bands were releasing Superman songs. It's because they were all kind of vying to get on the soundtrack. And it just died in development hell. And that's also where you get the terrible picture of Nicolas Cage in the awful Superman suit. And
I would so watch that movie though.
Oh, if you actually watch 100%. The documentary, the original concept of that film that they were doing with Burton actually would have been interesting.
It would have been a travesty, but it would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting. Not Superman. You want to see Superman, just go back and watch, the Christopher Reeve, or even better, go back and watch the Max Fleischer cartoons. But, you asked a question, why don't you see this now? You do see it now. You just don't see it with any of the characters that you love, because those characters are owned by corporations that, again, it goes back to they're going to invest $350 million. They're not going to put $20 million behind. Look at what happened with Green Arrow. They let the CW go with Green Arrow. And for the first 2 seasons of season and a half, that was a really good Green Arrow show. They were hitting really good tones. Was it perfect? No. We just had a Batman movie that it's not what probably everybody wanted, but it's the best Batman movie to show Batman as a detective ever. Yeah. And he's the world's greatest detective. In the last 20 years, really since Denny O'Neil left, that's kind of disappeared from the books for a large part. But that is a cornerstone of the character, and it's nice to see that return. So there's aspects of that,
But I mean, and Snick and I have talked endlessly about this. Characters like Superman, characters like Captain America, they can't hit those tones because nobody in their writers pool has the ethos that go into the method of those characters.
Well, yeah, and they fundamentally do not understand Superman and what makes him great. Again, we've talked about this. Like even with the Green Arrow, I remember watching some behind the scenes interviews. They wanted to do a Batman series, but they couldn't because studios had the rights. So they wanted to do a Batman series, which is kind of a ground level, kind of brutal, kind of detective. But they couldn't do it. And there was a script that went around for years called Supermax. And it was about Green Arrow being put into Gen Pop in a Supermax prison and him getting out. And they read that and they go, oh, we could do a brutal version of Green Arrow and turn him into the version of Batman that we kind of want to do. But that's studios now because their hands are always tied. Superman could have had a movie come out years ago. And especially with the climate it's been forever, somebody who sees the faults and fights to be beyond, you can't do because people don't find it realistic. Like I fight with my my brother about this all the time. He loves the Snyderverse. I hate the Snyderverse because it's not Superman. He loves Man of Steel because it's not Superman. Because to a lot of people, Superman is the symbol, and it's the look, and it's the powers. And we exist in a world now to where that's all that people see is these surface traits of these characters.
Yeah.
And that's why they miss the fundamentals. And it's a sad state we live in now. I think you could do a great Superman movie now. And it would do well.
An interesting conversation, or at least a thought experiment, would be who is Doc Savage, who is the Shadow, and who is the Phantom? Because those three characters were all at their zenith when Superman and Batman were created, and they have since pretty much been relegated to the dustbin of pop culture. That's where these characters are headed. Superman, Batman, the Flash. That's where our pop culture icons are headed now. And there's going to be, I don't think there's going to be new ones coming up because of how the media market is set up now. It's not like it used to be. It's more open than ever, but at the same time, it's closed. And when I say that is people aren't really looking for that, because if people are watching YouTube content like this, they're not sitting down and reading. We're at peak television. There's hundreds and hundreds of shows to watch. So people really don't gravitate towards that anymore. That's not what the mass market seems to want. So I think, you kind of got to check yourself a little bit and just understand that, when you're talking about superheroes, that era is kind of gone. And a lot of the last nail in the coffin really was the MCU. That kind of settled it. That made it mainstream and people accepted it. And now it's all been corporatized. And I don't know, you can maybe say it's sad, but it's a fact. This happens. We go through these cycles. And in 20, 30 years, things might change.
I'm not as black-pilled as all this. I think people are hoping for that, but I think the people who hold the reins are less interested in that. Even with the new stuff, like I'm curious about the new Flash movie. They're introducing Supergirl, which she was a good character in the 80s. Even when she got reintroduced with Turner and I think Loeb, she wasn't bad. But the new stuff, like they've race swapped and they've made, I think it's going to be Kara. It might not be, but they're pulling from a what if kind of tangent universe. The new Supergirl, they've race changed Batgirl from Barbara Gordon, but they've also race changed Commissioner Gordon, which in some regards I'm like, I don't care as much, but I see the source material they pull from. The newer Batgirl stuff was terrible. She was a great character. I love Barbara Gordon. I even liked her more when she was Oracle, when she was in a wheelchair. But they have moved so far beyond these epitomes, these pinnacles, and that's superheroes. Superheroes are supposed to be pinnacles. Iron Man, in the movies they did years ago in Marvel, he was a flawed, selfish, narcissistic, but a genius who at his core wanted to invent and make things better. And they've moved beyond that. They've moved beyond heroism. They've moved beyond what makes these characters great. And it's a shame because you've got, and again, it's where we live now. We've got people in charge who do not care about paradigms and basic levels of things. Like Aldous would know better because he loves pulp and old comics and all these other things. They actively move against that, and they're going to suffer for it more and more. So
no, it's good. I mean, I agree with you guys largely. It's just, I guess it's just disappointing to think like there's such great storytelling out there, and there's passionate people, and it will likely be looked over. And I understand the reasons why, but I don't understand why they can't they couldn't watch something like this and be like, this is what we need, like this is what people love, you know. And I don't know. I hope.
Sorry, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was like, if they do see this, all they're going to do is like, can we claim this for money now?
Well, they can and they will, and that's the issue that, you know, Stephen Trumbull Animation should have thought about. I understand being a fan of something, but when you have this level of talent, you could have taken just Superman, if he wasn't scared of green rocks, in the chat brought it up. There's a lot of public domain characters. You could have turned this into a Question story. The Question is public domain. You could have made it an Unknown Soldier story. You could have just changed it a little bit and put anybody in the Batman role, and it still would have worked. And it would have worked just as well. You might not have gotten 170K views. You might have only gotten 100K views, because a lot of people are watching this not because it's Batman, but because it's good.
Right.
And that's the thing, man. You don't need to latch on to these legacy heroes. Do your own thing. Come up with your own idea. And if you have that level of talent, you'll go forward, and it'll hit a moment and do well.
don't get all this started on the Question. Just don't do it.
That's fine.
Question is an amazing character.
What were you gonna say, Zombie? You look like you were ready to speak.
I was just gonna kind of go back to the short. Like, I just really want to point out these two shots I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was when he finds the two dead homeless people from the drug. Like, you just like see, like, I can't really describe it, but it's just like you can feel his pain seeing these people dead, even though he doesn't even know who they are. He's just like, I can feel that he fails them. Like, he feels that he failed them.
It's a really good example of what I was talking about earlier with the static shot with just the camera focus and the pan, because it's just a standard shot, and there's a little bit of like water dripping and stuff, and they've done some animation work, but it's just a static shot.
Like, and that's a screenshot worthy kind of thing.
Oh yeah, man! There's a lot of depth. In a lot of ways, there's more emoting in that moment than there is in almost the rest of it, because that kind of sets everything up.
Not telling.
Yeah, exactly. It's done very well.
Right. And then the other shot was when it's the reveal of Two-Face, and like he has the two gangs on each side of him, the really high class ones on his undamaged side, then the rough and tumble gangsters on his monstrous side.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good shot of showing just like how he was in control of everything.
Yep.
That was just
there were a lot of good shots. Although the first, I think, 5 minutes, I was kind of like, where are we going? What's happening? It is a video you have to watch and want to see where it goes. I think it relies in some regards, because I knew how much it's been praised online. I was willing to stick it out because of that. And then you slowly morph into the art style and everything else. But like when like I said, the first 5 minutes, the people in the alley, that was sadly for me unlike you two, it was lost on me completely. I was just like, okay, where's the meat? Where's this going? So
Sorry, I need a drink of water.
I wanted to make you awkward. So good luck. You're welcome.
You stopped at the worst possible moment. I was like, oh no.
Aldous knows that's what I'm good at.
No, it was definitely. I'm glad that was it Zombie. Was that you that shared it with us, or was it you, Snick? I forget.
I'm pretty sure it was Snick. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for
me. I was the turkey the whole time.
I shared like random trailers.
That's right. That's right. No, that was perfect. And honestly, this is a great place for us to wrap up because I feel like it was a great way to end an otherwise sort of morose start with those trailers.
It's always good having the diamonds from the sewage.
Right, exactly. But no, that I want to see more stuff like that. And thank you guys for the recommendation too on Dust, because I pulled it up yesterday at work, and the end of my day got busy, and I'm sorry, not the end of yesterday. The end of Wednesday got really busy, and today got really busy for me. So I definitely plan on looking at some of those this weekend because I love sci-fi stuff.
It's the best written stuff out there right now. It's the equivalent of the old like Isaac Asimov presents anthologies in book form.
That's awesome.
It's what people are producing is just phenomenal, and it makes you wonder. Like the last movie I looked forward to go see sci-fi wise in the theater was Alien Covenant, and man, you talk about a gut punch of disappointment. I felt like I got stabbed in the kidney and left in a tub of bath of ice water. It was just terrible walking out of
that happens to you. All this.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
But yeah, guys, another successful Midnight Oil. We burned it again. I do want to find out what you guys are up to as usual. Aldous, what do you got going on? How are things over on your channel?
Really good. We've ended the uploads for season 1, which was 1937 and 1938 of the original The Shadow radio shows with Orson Welles, and we have transitioned over into season 2, 38 to 39, and that is held. The Shadow is now Bill Johnstone. The episode I just uploaded actually has a young 23-year-old Richard Whitmark in it, doing the voice work for one of the natives on an island in Haiti, in the island nation of Haiti, as they're dealing with a voodoo curse. So highly recommend checking that out for anybody that's interested.
That's awesome. Zombie, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Just been kind of focusing on streaming still. I mean, classes just ended today technically, so I will be starting to focus more on maybe possible YouTube content. It just depends on scheduling. But
nice.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
So Snick, what's going on in your life, man? What are you doing besides this lovely show?
Online, I do literally nothing. Definitely clue into all this if you like old radio plays. There are 2 kind of long streams with he and I talking solo about Superman, who's a character I love. And there's another one where we talk with a buddy of ours, Ralph, about Midnight Mass, which I thought was fun. I love that movie more than them. So if you want to hear me get berated, good one to watch.
I love that show, man.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. Zombie, I'd say subscribe as well. Just give him crap all the time. He needs it. It'll strengthen his spine. And of course, Shags. He has a great beard. So.
Thanks. That's all I am. Is I'm a beard and a cheap ripoff of Jason Momoa. That's all I have to offer.
You're Wall Momoa.
You're always my beard, sir, and you are better than Momoa. So
it is not your beard; it is our beard.
It's America's beard.
It's our comrade's beard. I can't. Oh, I wanted, I didn't even, I got these new things to use, and I didn't even use them because I'm stupid. Because my initial reaction to the Batman I mean, I think we can all agree, right?
I also want to throw a shout out to TheRockReyna, who edits your videos. He's doing the God's work, and
yes.
Wow, yeah, your stuff is a mess.
You serious?
Yeah, it was. Yes. TheRockReyna has been a huge help to me. Snick as well. He's been helping out with some thumbnails as well. But Rock has been doing God's work in editing down these videos into clips that you guys can revisit and watch. But thank you guys for continuing to support us here. I, as per USOL, are doing streams on Wednesday and Friday here on YouTube. I'm actually thinking about changing my schedule around and doing streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then having Saturday, Sunday, Monday off to do family stuff. And I would be adding a YouTube stream, a solo stream on Tuesday, Wednesday doing the midweek hump with Horror Emirata and Sheepsidian. And God, so I die. Holy crap. Sorry, I'm wrapping up the show. So that's Wednesday at 9 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And then was it Saturday, Sunday, Monday? And right now we're doing Twitch streams over on my Twitch channel. And I can't. You broke me. You broke me.
You're so fun to scare. Look how cute you are. You're laughing, and your people are laughing, and it's just.
Oh my God. Whew.
Don't take this anymore.
Oh, okay.
You died of thirst today at work.
Oh, I took it today. It was upstairs. Anyways, sorry guys. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you for everyone joining us. We'll see you next Friday at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Bye.